everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a collab with the lovely Tori from Illustrate Tor. Now Tori is an artist who does a lot of awesome stuff. She has this monthly challenge called Petal People where she personifies plants and sort of turns them into a character design. Also, she does the Copic Colors challenge a lot, and she does a lot of awesome art videos, that kind of stuff. And to be honest, her marker collection is goals. I'm pretty sure she has even more markers than I do, and that's a lot. Also, she's just a really nice and funny person, and her videos are definitely a treat to watch, so I definitely recommend you to go and subscribe to her and check her out. So anyways, previously we did a collab together about 8 months ago, and that was personifying logos. So this time we are doing another collab, and it is a Halloween themed line art swap. So for the people who are unaware of how a line art swap works, basically we do a drawing each, and we do just the line art, and then we send it off to the other person to complete. So this drawing here that I am doing right now, as you can see on the screen, I'm actually going to be sending the line art of this off to Tori for her to complete, and she's going to send me some line art to complete as well. So it's really interesting seeing how the artwork completes itself with the other person's sort of coloring style. And yeah, I really love doing these sort of line art swaps. I think they're a lot of fun. So as this is Halloween themed, I wanted to draw a few sort of monster people. As you can see, we have a sort of Frankenstein girl and a sort of vampire boy. Now the story behind these two are they are siblings, they're brother and sister, and the boy is the younger brother, and he often likes to try and play tricks on his older sister, as annoying little brothers do. And yeah, so I had him sort of floating upside down behind her, and he was gonna sort of appear and like poke her and like try and scare her, but she's not really having any of that. She's just like, ew, get away from me, don't touch me, because little brothers are gross. That's basically the story behind that. I thought it was just something funny and quirky and a little bit silly to do as well, but yeah, it definitely fits in with the Halloween theme, and I had a lot of fun drawing these sort of monster type of characters. It was definitely fun trying to give them a little bit of personality as well, and yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. So here is the results of the line art, which I am now going to send off to Tori. And yeah, I can't wait to see how this drawing turns out with her coloring style and what kind of colors she's going to decide to do. And yeah, I'm really excited to see that. So anyways, the art that she decided to send to me, I absolutely love it. Look at this hunk. Okay, so she basically drew for me a sort of demon guy, and he's very cool looking with his tattoos and his horns, and that frame around it is just amazing. Now she even decided to send me 3 different variations. I'm so spoiled here. So I was able to choose between black line art, a sort of dark sepia line art, and a sort of lighter sepia line art. And personally, I decided to go with the dark sepia line art, mainly because it had a more of a reddish tone to it, and I really had a cool idea for this, and it involved lots of red in this drawing because it is Halloween and this is a sort of cool demon guy. So what I decided to do was I went with the sort of dark sepia line art, which had the reddish tinge, and I went in first with a nice little layer underneath all of the coloring with some reds, and I basically did that because I wanted all of the items in this drawing to be shaded with a sort of red tone, and this would give it a bit of a creepy sort of vibe. And yeah, I just wanted to do a sort of color palette where everything was shaded with red and it just had this sort of ominous feel to it. However, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Now with his skin tone, I decided to have the shadows red, as I mentioned before, but I also decided to give him a sort of still slightly natural skin. I didn't want to just go full red skin with him because I wanted some parts of him to feel slightly human. However, there's a little bit of difference there, so it definitely feels like he's not human, and it's sort of got that sort of creepy in-between feel where it's not quite human but it's a little bit. And yeah, I definitely wanted to try and get that kind of feel. So I shaded his skin with the red colors, and then I used a barely beige for the mid-tones of his skin, and then I went back with a red and I used R00 and R0 for the highlight parts, just to sort of add a little bit more of a pinkish tone to it, while also having it sort of feel like an eerie non-human skin. Now for the tattoos, it was a lot of fun to do. I basically just coloured in the whole skin how I was going to have it, and then over the top I went in with a lot of pinks and reds and greys and a little bit of blue as well, just to tone it down a tiny bit. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun colouring in those tattoos. I think they came out really nicely. Now for his shirt, I definitely didn't want to go with too much red. However, I decided to go with a sort of desaturated, gross kind of green color. And I mainly did this because I wanted a little bit of variety in the colors, but I didn't want the green to be too bright or anything. And I was definitely shading that in with red as well, which gives it a really different and eerie sort of vibe. And yeah, for his hair, I went back in with those sort of desaturated blue colors that I used in the tattoos, just so I could use those colors again throughout the illustration and have it a little bit more similar colors, if you get what I mean. Now as you can see, I am masking off this illustration because I wanted to do a sort of background with my airbrush system. Now as you can see, I've just placed a piece of paper over the top, and this is how I sort of mask off my illustrations sometimes. Usually I don't show this process, however I thought it would be a good idea to show it at least a few times because yeah, I like explaining how I do my art and stuff, and this is a sort of important part. So what I do is I place a piece of paper over the top and I basically just trace around where the illustration is, and then I cut it out with a pair of scissors. Now I'm doing this so that I don't have to stick contact paper or masking tape over the whole illustration, because there's a lot of block areas that I want to mask off. And it's just a lot easier when I use paper and then just a sort of minimal tape around, because it's a lot easier to peel off when it's not all stuck down to the illustration. Also, with this masking tape, sometimes it does rip the paper up a little bit, and that's why I would prefer to have minimal amounts of it actually stuck to the paper. So that's why that other bit of printer paper is quite useful. So what I'm doing right now is that I'm just sticking down all of the paper everywhere, and I'm cutting around the character. However, I'm also leaving a white outline around him. So part of the white outline is masked off. It's not masked off completely, just like up to him, if you get what I mean. You'll see what I mean when I peel it off. It'll make more sense. I'm not very good at explaining things. However, once I got all of that masked off, I went in with a nice sort of soft background. Now I wanted this background to be very, very vibrant and bright, and sort of like it feels like it's a sort of fiery kind of background. So I went in with a lot of reds and mid-tone reds and also dark reds around the outside, and then I used a lot of oranges and yellows on the inside to sort of frame the character and have him look like he's sort of illuminated a little bit. And yeah, I just sort of tried to go with a slightly patchy, interesting background. Now here's the time to peel off that masking, and it's basically like a reveal. I love watching this stuff, the masking get peeled off. It's just so satisfying to see that artwork sort of get revealed. I know I'm probably repeating myself too much, but it's just so satisfying to see that kind of thing. So yeah, here is the artwork almost finished. What's left to do is just to go around little bits here and there which didn't get airbrush on it, because my masking isn't perfect obviously. So basically what I do is I just fix those little parts up with my markers just to sort of make it less noticeable, and this illustration is mostly done. All I have to do now is just add some little bits of highlights here and there with my pencils and my gel pen, and we are done. Now I am so happy with how this turned out. I think that the colors are just really nice, and I love those red undertones. It just gives it a sort of a creepy, kind of cool vibe, and I love this line art that Tor drew. She definitely did get that sort of cool guy with the tattoos vibe. I think she did it better than I could have done. So yeah, definitely go check her out and subscribe to her channel if you haven't. She's going to be colouring in the illustration which I did at the start of this video, so I'm so excited to see how that turned out. And yeah, make sure if you came here from her channel, check out my other videos, hit like and subscribe if you want. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye everyone!